Do you keep score of your trading? Do you know how to keep score? I ask that question of everyone that calls. Think back to last week. Do you know how you really did for your trading? Most people will say, well, I keep score bagger based on the money. That's all. If I make more money than 1 week, more money from one day to the next, then I know I'm trading good and I'm trading better. Well, the problem with keeping score based purely on the money, you may not agree, but if you are trading subtly, subconsciously, greed and fear. Greed and fear. And that is not good. It's important in golf to know how to keep score. It's important in any sport. And it isn't just the win-loss ratio. It isn't just the golf handicap. Why? For the golfer, he needs to know, she needs to know, how many fairways are they hitting? How many sand saves? How many putts are they making in regulation? To name a few. Why? So that they know if their game is advancing, and most importantly, they can identify the weaker parts of their game so they know what to work on from 1 week to the next. A basketball player might be the winning, or not the winning percentage, yes, certainly as a team, but individually, what is his shot average from the free throw line, as an example? Baseball, a pitcher, his earned run average. Let me show you something from our trading on Friday. This was our setup. And if you didn't see the video immediately preceding this one on YouTube, feel free. We compressed several hours of trading into a program that we were running at a 1-minute level. It was the E-mini, and it was this program specifically off of Swing Machine. Now, we made a decision, as much as a player might make a decision to approach a particular golf tournament or a golf hole in a particular fashion, or a coach might develop a game strategy going up against an opponent. We made a decision to run the strategy only taking long trades. Only taking long. Why? Because the 5-minute was long, and we wanted to go in the direction of the 5. Now, the strategy could have taken shorts. Now, we also made a decision that we would use our acquired trading skill to not put trades on, not take losses off based on greed and fear, but to intervene and occasionally take some profits off. And we said we would do that based on the performance report from the strategy. So let me show you how we approach this, and ultimately I want to show you, yes, we made $1,700 on Friday, but what was the internal score, and how would I have done compared to the machine if I had just let the machine run? Because you see, not only do I want to get an understanding of my own trading, but I also want to get, over time, an understanding of a particular strategy. So we have a person in Q School right now, and we have him keeping his score, each and every day. Now, it's going to be a little too soon for him to be making decisions on individual strategies. But in time, he will be doing much like the rest of our members are doing, keeping a score not just for themselves, but on a particular strategy, and learning when to run a particular strategy and how to run it. So let me show you. Okay, here is the strategy that we were running. SMC Zinger trend short only 1.5 and Zinger trend long only 1.5. And that was this column right here. So it was matching, and we were running it on a 1 minute basis. Now, what I'm going to look at first is what would this strategy have done if it was running, as I've got set up here, long and short. Okay, now that's not what we did, but how would it have done if we had run it long and short? So let's take a look. Let's close this. Bear with me. And we're going to open what we call the performance report. And we simply come here to data and open the performance report. Okay, so here it is. If we had run this strategy throughout the time that we were running, we would have had long and short 38 trades, and you might want to jot this down, because we're going to compare and contrast what this machine would have done versus what we in fact did. And this is how we do it, one of the ways. There would have been 38 trades, 26% profitable. And you might think like that's really poor, but when you're following a trend, which this strategy is meant to do, 30% is acceptable. So you can still make money with a low winning percentage. A lot of folks don't realize that. But you'll come here. Let's look here. The net profit was $2,337.50. And the profit factor was 1.59. Now, we made, if you look at the earlier video, we made $1,701. So you might say, well, Bagger, then you didn't trade as well as the machine. Well, we'll hold on to that moment. Remember these scores. Remember these. 1.59 winning percentage, 26.32 in the net, but particularly the profit factor. If you don't know what a profit factor is, that's a problem. But a profit factor, to net it out, means at 1.59, I'm making $1.59 for every dollar I lose. If you don't know what your profit factor is, then you really can't tell just how good the trading was. And it's hard to compare and contrast. And if you're comparing just the money, again, you don't get to see the fairways hit, the sand saves, the internals. Now I'm going to go into the strategy and I'm going to run it just long. Let's take a look at what it would have done if it was running just long. And the way we do this, here is the strategy. And I simply toggle the short side. The short strategy is up top. You see it right there. And I'm going to simply toggle off, or I'm going to put in exit only. And the buy to cover I'm going to turn off. So now the strategy is only using shorts as an exit, and it's only going long. And now we want to look at what its performance would have been. Let's take a look. And here it is, a net of 38.37, more than double what we did. Interesting. But don't pass judgment yet. Profit factor, 3.46, 19 trades, 36% profitable. So for every dollar the machine lost, it made $3.46. I only made $1,700. Did the machine trade better than me? And before you say, oh, it was an up day, anybody could have made money on an up day. Well, you'll need to see the earlier video, but we had a discussion as to, how and why we were running only long. So there's some decisions that one needs to make in and around a strategy or a trading robot. And remember, these trading robots are trade-assisted robots. You must have good trading skill, acquired skill, to run any of them effectively. So remember this, because this is what we were running. How many trades did we make? What was our profit factor? Our net, I've already told you, is 1,700. So we don't want to come into the performance report. We want to open up on TradeStation what they call their trade analysis. Let me close this, and it's found up here. We come to new application, and we open right here the Trade Manager Analysis. Now, we have selected the date. It was Friday. I'm going to generate a report, and there is our trading. This is exactly what we did. Our total net profit was 1,701. The long side and the short side, we had one. We did have, when I stop and think back to it, we did have one short, and I had forgotten about that one short. We did. So it keeps us honest. The profit factor, my profit factor was 5.18. Now the machine made 3,800 on the long side with a profit factor of 3.6, I think thereabouts, 3 point something. I would say to our members, and my conclusion is that I actually traded better than what the machine did. For every dollar I lost, I made $5.18. And maybe if we had traded, longer, maybe been a little more patient, maybe the net would have increased. But it gives me insight. And we can scroll down to other information. The total number of trades, 10, or actually we're 3 shorts, 70% profitable. And it was the shorts that were losing. So I actually forgot that we did have in the beginning a very few shorts. And the winners were the right side. It tells us the average winning trade. And you see, I was intervening in taking profits at between $300 and $400. Why? Because also the performance report told me over the last few weeks, this particular strategy, the average payout was about $400. So I was playing it pretty aggressive, expecting some volatility, and we didn't really have a lot of volatility on Friday. So I could have, had I been a little bit more patient, we would have had higher profits. So there's a lot of information here. We don't have time to go through it all. We do this in our Q School. But it'll tell us the trading period, how many, it was for 8 hours and 56 minutes. The percent of time in the market was just 25%. So it's hard for the market to hit you in the nose when you're not in the market. And here is our maximum drawdown, just $397. The trade analysis, here it is, 10 trade. Let's make sure we're starting at the top. Total of 10 trades, average trade net. Average time in trades, 13 minutes. Average time between trades, 28 minutes. Average time between profit peaks, 58 minutes, and more. Folks, we're very serious about our trading. We're trading as a business, and it's important to keep score, not just of the money, because this is a classic case where, in my view, having netted only 1,700 and the machine having made, some 3,500 or over 3,600, I should not be beating myself up for making less money than what the machine would have done. I actually, in my view, traded better than the machine. My profit factor, my internals were much better than what the machine did. Now, it was just one day. So you can see I'm not in competition with the market. I'm not really even in competition with myself. I'm in competition with the systems that I'm putting on and running. I have to make some decisions before each day. What market am I going to trade? How much leverage am I going to use? What strategy am I going to use? Am I going to run long and short? Where should the profit targets be? Where should the stop losses be? Very, very important questions. And we glean the answers to those questions from previous performance reports and from previous trading. That is where the acquired skill comes from. If you're sitting down at your computer terminal day after day after day, week after week after week, and simply buying and selling and buying, and marking a support and resistance point on the SPX, I think 3,800 is the high, and 3,600 is the low, and I'm gonna buy. I made money, I lost money. You're gonna be chasing your tail. You won't be improving. It's really important, if you're going to be a real good golfing athlete or sporting athlete, you need to know your internals so you can practice the things that need practice, and you need to repeat the things that are working well. It also helps you to know, in golf, could I play golf using a 9-iron? Probably. Could make for a long day if I had to play 18 holes playing with a 9-iron. You need to know when to hit the driver, when to hit a 5-iron, and when to hit the sand wedge. Do you know when to hit the driver, so to speak, when you're trading? When you should be playing for the bigger win intraday or even during the week? Are you always trying to hit the driver? Or are you always trying to just hit a sand wedge? I'm Bagadon at StockMarketCaddy.com. I cannot answer those questions for you. Nobody can. The only thing I can do and try to do for our members during the Q School and ongoing is to make them aware of the things that they may not know, and make them aware of the things they may not know about their own game, and show them and instruct them on the available tools that they can use around their own trading and around what we call strategy trading. Feel free to give me a shout. I can be reached from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. any day of the week. 813-758-8263. Have a great week.